Black Velvet number 3, copyright October the 15th, 2008. After Colonel Fitzhugh Black launched the Upper Canadian Space Capsule in a spot near the Houghton Sandhills, scientists around the world flocked to the tiny pioneer village to see if they could sneak a glimpse of the interior of this mechanically advanced cannonball of space. However, the British regulars and the colonial militia that Sir John Macdonald had employed to keep the spaceship secrets from hostile prying American robber barons, nothing worried Upper Canadian Family Compact more than the possibility that their old War of 1812 enemies, such as Jacob Astor and Levi Strauss, would ravage Canada's fledgling space industry, just like they had burnt over mills and kneecapped Miss Molly's cow half a century earlier. As Talbot, Ryerson, and Burwell gathered in a country road rooming house supplying on their sherries, they discussed the possibilities of bankrolling a return to space for Colonel Black and his spaceship. They, however, needed an incentive to encourage other rich folk to subscribe to the enterprise. After the space launch of 1864, the shock wave of the explosion that had propelled the 100-ton craft and her crew of 27 men and 6 women cosmonauts into space had seriously damaged the Hemlock gun and the bedrock it was anchored in. The necessary repairs would have drained the resources of a small nation such as Upper Canada. Yet if the eccentric Black was not encouraged to try another shot at space from Upper Canadian soil, the Americans might entice him back to the country he'd turned his back on a decade and a half earlier with an offer he would not refuse, the bankrolling of an energetic American space initiative. The Canadian syndicate did have one advantage over the Americans, however. The Black Velvet space capsule and the Hemlock gun could feasibly be brought back into firing condition half a decade before the earliest American test shots would be able to proceed. So it was on a sunny August day in 1866 that the members of the Family Compact mused on a goal for a second Upper Canadian space exploratory voyage, the incentive they could offer to potential backers and Black himself, and a strong driving leader of men who would mobilize the resources of the nation to get the Hemlock gun refitted and fired within a year, just in time for the spaceship to make a rendezvous with Halley's Comet, which was expected to pass within a voyaging distance sometime in September or October of the year of our Lord 1867. "Women leaders, I say," said one of the Family Syndicate members, perhaps Burwell himself. Well, as we all know, when Lincoln appointed Burnside to lead the Army of the Potomac and Dudley Peabody and President Davis had anointed Dudley Peabody Supreme Chieftain of the American Civil War Confederate Forces, the American Civil War between the states took on a turn for the worst. The estimates of casualties and dead kept rising by leaps and bounds. so that by 1863